The rule of thumb that I give everyone is that the number of time zones crossed is the number of days on average it takes to fully get used to that time zone.
We're back with another episode of Your Journey to Soulful Sleep with psychologist and sleep expert Dr. Shelby Harris. Today we're going to talk about the external factors that you really can't control. It can be jet lag, which I have experienced when I flew into New York, but it can also be a young baby that disrupts your sleep, or even shift work. I think most people have experienced jet lag. Is there anything you can actually do to maybe help yourself beforehand?
Yeah, there's definitely things. With jet lag, it's hard to give specific suggestions to someone because everyone is going in different directions. Some people are going 10-hour flights, 20-hour flights, it varies, and in different directions too. But the rule of thumb that I give everyone is that the number of time zones crossed is the number of days on average it takes to fully get used to that time zone. So if you're going from New York to, say, Paris, a 6-hour or so time difference, that can actually take 6 days for your body to naturally get back on track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, some people adjust really fast. Other people expect that they should adjust immediately, but it's normal to take a number of days. And the more time zones crossed, the more time it can take to adjust. Now, that being said, there are things that you can do. So if you have to think about what direction you're going in, sometimes an overnight flight, even though you might not get the most sleep, can be better, and try to really get used to the time zone that you're traveling to when you're leaving and you're getting on the plane. So start to change your meals that you're eating when you're on the plane to the time zone of where you're going. Limit things like alcohol, caffeine. Those can be things when you're on a plane that can actually be very dehydrating and make it harder for you to sleep. Depending upon the direction that you're going in, light, you want to either avoid light or get bright light. There are some really wonderful apps and programs out there that you can look into that can help actually tailor the time that you want to go to bed, the light exposure, the caffeine use,
that's
napping
amazing.
based on where you're leaving from and where you're going to. So there's really great resources out there. And then I use napping strategically. So you can stay up really late if you have to, but if you're landing in the morning and you're tired, a little nap at certain times can help you adjust as well.
Is it wise then to take a short nap and then try to ease or force your body basically into that?
That is often the easiest thing to do, is to take a little nap when you land or just a few hours after, and then try to stay up until the time. But it really does depend on how many time zones you're crossing, how far you're going. So that's why I said there are great programs out there and apps that you can look into that actually will tailor it exactly to where you're going from where you're coming from.
I'm going to look into that.
They're great.
Quite helpful. I also hear you talk quite often actually about dehydration. Is that a massive factor that can influence your sleep?
I think both. So if you aren't sleeping well, you tend to be dehydrated from that, and then you get thirstier. And then sometimes people are dehydrated, they don't realize they're so dehydrated, and then as the nighttime comes, they start to drink more water because they're so dehydrated from the day, that then they don't sleep well because they're drinking so much water at night. So it's something to be mindful of, to be trying to make sure you get enough water, but not only at night, to try and do it throughout the day, from morning until a few hours before bed, because that can help as well.
Yeah, and otherwise you end up going to the bathroom all night. Another topic, for all the young parents out there, you have this new baby. You have to get used to being a new parent, but your baby keeps waking you up. What to do?
I know. I mean, there's a part of, some parents come to me with a 1 or 2 month old, like, I got to get my baby to sleep through the night. That's not normal. Like, babies take a number of months to start being able to sleep at least a 6 or 7 hour stretch. So some of it's just having to power through as best you can. And there's that old adage that people often say of sleep when the baby sleeps. Wonderful. Do that if you can. I have 2 kids. I was never able to sleep when the baby slept. There was a number of other things to do, and my brain didn't turn off because I was always waiting for my babies to wake up to then go and do it. So try to sleep when you can. Just accept it is what it is. But the big thing I ask people to do when they have babies and they're not sleeping well at night is ask for help. So many parents, especially moms, first-time moms, don't ask for enough help. So teach, if you have a partner at home who can help you, not everyone's lucky enough to have that extra help, but if you do, teach your partner how to change the diapers, make sure they know how to do that, make sure they know how to, maybe if you're using if you're pumping or you're using bottles, make sure that that's something that your partner knows how to clean and prepare so that all the stuff around maybe a breastfeeding time is something that someone else can take care of.
Yeah.
And if you're not solely breastfeeding all the time, the other thing you can do is then split up some of the nights. So a good 4-hour chunk of sleep for a parent is actually much better than little bits here and there. It helps with mood, it helps with energy. So if you can divide up the night and have your partner maybe do any bottle feedings or pumped milk or whatever you want so that you can protect a 4-hour chunk for yourself, it's a game changer for a lot of parents.
And then there's another issue where you can't actually control how you sleep. It is when you have work that doesn't allow you to sleep during the day or during the night because you have shifts.
Yep, shift work is a really common one. So a lot of people who have shift work, I worked in a hospital for many years and worked with a lot of the residents and physicians on staff and nurses who just couldn't sleep well. So there are definitely things you can do to help with shift work. Not everything's a cure because remember, our bodies are meant to sleep at night and be awake during the day. So you're working against your biology a bit, but there are things that can be done. So try to be as consistent with your sleep-wake schedule 7 days a week. So make sure you're trying to sleep at the same time 7 days. Or you can work with a specialist who can then tailor it so it's not as big of a shift from your off days to your days that you're working. Light exposure is really important. So we've talked about keeping your bedroom quiet, dark, cool. If you're sleeping during the day because you're working at night, make sure that's really key. So nice and dark, keep your phone off, let your family and friends know that you are sleeping during this time. Try not to make as many appointments if you can during the day. Try to protect your sleep time because it will help. We use napping strategically for a lot of people, but there's some things that you just can't control. So you try to control everything else that you can to help protect the sleep that you have.
And maybe I think the best way to round up this topic is that sometimes you just have to accept what is.
Exactly.
And maybe then even it eases your...
Yeah, and if acceptance is a big piece of it. If you find that you're really still struggling though, definitely talk to a sleep specialist because they can help tailor plans to help you deal with it a little bit better. It's never going to be perfect, but there are ways to adjust to it and accept it as best you can as well as adjust to it.
I think though that there are more sleep experts or specialists here in the States than we have in, for example, the Netherlands.
There are really good associations. So there's sleep associations that have specialists. Sometimes it's harder to find them, but if you go online, you can usually find some people.
Well, great tip. In our next episode, which I really love that topic because I had no idea, why women sleep not so much or not better than men, right?
Yes, we're going to talk all about why women have more trouble sleeping than men.
That's wonderfully said. Thank you.